Toby, we're going to talk indoor track and field, and the Pirates opened the season this weekend, and some really good performances right out of the gate. What stood out for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to talk about, honestly. You know, we had about 60 athletes compete. We had 58 personal records. Now, some of those people, you know, a person had 2 or something like that. So that in and of itself, just across the board, was great. You got 138 people on the roster right now. You know, about half of them compete, and then come away with that many personal records shows that the athletes are doing the right things and prepared well, and coaches did a great job setting them up for success. Had 17 people with top 10 all-time indoor best marks, and so people moved into the top 10. Had 2 school records out of that. Had one from Ann Blest in the shot put, and then one from Emily Moore in the 400. Both of those are national caliber times. Emily, I think, is 8th or 7th in the nation with that mark. She needs to run a little faster to get in, but that's still a great start for the first meet of the year. And then Ann Blest puts her 2nd in the nation right now, and that mark should get her in. And that mark is, you know, her PR, her indoor school record, and it is further than she threw outdoor as well. So, I mean, all in all, she had a great meet.
What would you say to those who still think of indoor track and field as just practice season for the outdoor season?
Yeah, you know, part of that is our fault because when I first got here 30 years ago, you know, there really wasn't an indoor season at Whitworth, but really anywhere else. And so we'd go to meets and we just always use it as prep, and kind of our better athletes had some success, and we took people to nationals, and we even finished 3rd in the nation one year on the men's side, and but still didn't really emphasize indoor as its own sport. But again, indoor it's like basketball or swimming in the winter. It's a legitimate sport. And now that we have the podium, and we've had that now for 5 years, and because we've kind of emphasized hosting meets as well, and we're going to host the Indoor National Championships next year indoor, I think people are starting to get the idea that indoor is its own season. High school kids obviously are competing in indoor a lot more with things like the podium and other venues across the country, and even in the Northwest hosting meets. So I think high school kids understand that it's its own season. Our athletes understand, and hopefully the fans will start figuring that out too.
You're going to be able to have a couple of weeks of practice again here before you compete again. Next meet will be back in the podium. We'll be hosting that one. Are we going to have a even bigger crew of folks competing, and what kind of things do you hope from that?
Yeah, you know, we're finishing up Jan term this week, and so we have about 20 athletes gone on Jan term, and then we just have athletes that coming off of other sports, or just, you know, cross-country athletes, you know, still kind of tuning back up after competing in the fall. And all this to say is we're not really ready for this meet this past weekend, but we will be in 2 weeks with everybody back on campus, spring semester starting, you know, all the things that need to happen. Plus, you know, this meet was a very small meet. There wasn't a lot of teams there because there was a meet at the podium the day before with a lot of D1 schools. Our meet, because we host it and we host good meets, there's going to be about 15 teams there from all over, including California and you know, all the states surrounding. And so, yeah, we're going to have a good contingent of our team. Still not going to have javelin throwers throw or discus throwers throw or, you know, things like that, but we'll definitely have a good showing in 2 weeks.